Hi Small Shed, I'm going to be looking at lighting and how I can upgrade it a bit. Now the lighting that I installed into the small shed is basically 4 of these LED light panels, and they're perfectly adequate for what I need them for if I'm working in the shed. But one of the problems that I'm finding with the filming or videoing is that you get that sort of a problem. It doesn't take much to start and throw you into darkness, and that's because the panels are at either end in the roof sections that have got storage above them. There's nothing in the middle section of the shed that's pulling any light in. Now I did buy some supplementary lights, but they are very bulky and they take up an awful lot of room when you're trying to actually work in the shed. So I've been out and bought some more of these panel lights, and I'm going to try and fit them on the slopes either side in the middle of the shed itself to try and bounce a bit more light around and hopefully improve things. So we'll just unbox those and see what we've got. So effectively the panels are the same as the ones I've bought for the shed itself for normal use in the daytime. They are flat LED panels that are, I think they're 24 watt, 290mm square, and they're very thin. I don't know quite how thin, but those are the panels. Very nice. It's an aluminium frame, frosted plastic centre. Yeah, 24 watts. And say that just about, yeah, 290mm square. The visible light panel is about 240mm square. And I think I bought the 4 of them for just under £25, so they're not by any stretch of the imagination expensive, but they do seem to give a good even light all the way across the shed. This is where the lights are going in the centre area where there's nothing at the moment. There might be some interference from timber and that sort of thing, but that's only on the one side. The other side is perfectly clear. So I'll put a panel across at a height yet to be determined that we'll fix on either side of the roof trusses, just to stand it down an inch or so off the back plate, and then cut holes out for the panels themselves, and I can screw into the roof trusses at the side to fix them. The panels will be 960mm long to fit between the trusses, and I'll probably do them about 400 wide. I'm just using an offcut of 6mm MDF, which isn't the best material to use, but I shall beef it up with some timber bearers underneath that will hopefully make it a bit more rigid. The opening size is 280mm square, so 400 less 280, 120, that's 60mm either side. Now the panels have been cut roughly to size, and I've cut out the holes for the LED panels. Start to see now how it goes together. There'll be some framing around the outside that will box it all up and make it rigid, and then the whole thing will just slot into the roof space and be fixed either side. One of the things I've got to do now is just give it a quick clean up and paint. Then I'll get the framing on and we can wire them up, and I'm just debating whether to put another switch in the middle so that I can switch these out when I'm not doing any filming, because the light levels are perfectly adequate for normal use. So I might give myself that opportunity and just drop a switch in either side. With all the timber backings cut to the right sizes, it's then a relatively simple matter to just glue them in place, and then I'll just pin them with a nail gun afterwards just to secure them at the edges and corners. That gives a fairly strong box structure that will support the lights. And once the panels are assembled, just going to round over the edges just to tidy it up a bit. We've got the little Katsu router now, so we might as well use it. And after that, it's just a simple matter. Just give it a bit of paint just to tidy it up a bit and blend it in with the ceiling, and it will also help reflect the light. Get an undercoat on first and then give it a finish coat in a minute when it's dried. Right, now I've just got a rough coat of first base coat on. It needs to sand yet, but now I've got the bits and pieces to finish off. I bought the switch, a back box for it so that I can put the light switch in. Just been trying to decide where to fit the switch. I was going to put it in the middle, but it would make sense to have it as low down as I can so that when I reach up to the wall it's the lowest possible reach. So I've just put one of the panels in to establish a bottom line, put that on centre line of the panel, and then I've marked off the size I need for the cutout, which is about 60 by 15 something, 60 by 30 something like that. And that's just a pre-paint mock-up now with the switch in position, and there's a back box on it to make sure all of the electrics are safe and contained and well away from the metal cladding that'll be butting up against, so there's no risks there. So all I've got to do now is just pop that off, we'll repaint the top and then put it all together ready to fix. That's the two panels finished now. The switches in the middle, we'll just turn them on and off separately, wired into a pair of transformers on the back, which then feed out to the individual LED panels. All the wiring and everything is contained within the back box of the switch. So all that remains to be done now is to just route the wires through to the junction boxes in the ceiling adjacent to the existing panels, and we can screw them into position, and hopefully that'll improve things. Of course, having got the panels ready now, I've got to take everything out of the roof space to get at all the junction boxes, so yet more confusion and disruption to the workshop, but with these things you've usually got to make something worse before it gets better. The light panels are just screwed in with a couple of screws just to hold them. They're pretty well wedged in anyway in the roof space, and that now gives you an idea of the full amount of lighting within the shed if I want maximum light conditions. Right, well that's it finished. Give you a demonstration of what's been achieved, if anything. This is just the normal shed lighting that I had before, and as I say, you can see that the minute I start moving around you get shadows occurring and all sorts of dark spots. If I turn the extra lights on, floods the middle area a lot better with a lot more light, and it means that I can move around a lot more without any great problems. So that's achieved something. That's another job ticked off the list. Time to move on to some more jobs, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. If you like the video, please press like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye.